to StarTV, and of course, the road to the National Assembly. 53 seats out there for grabs, and candidates have been all the way across the length and breadth of the country, especially the president. The president has been campaigning. And for who? For a majority in the National Assembly. And critics are saying, Mr. President, you need not be on the bandwagon. Anyway, to look at these issues and other issues surrounding the road to the National Assembly, I have two aspirants in Serekunda West, a very critical place in Serekunda. Let me just welcome our guests once again to StarTV. This is the road to the National Assembly. Like I said earlier on, 53 seats up for grabs. And to discuss this and other issues, I have with me the incumbent, Honorable Madi Ceesay, and of course, our first-time aspirant, NENEH FREDA Gomez from Citizen Alliance. Lady, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Malik. It's a pleasure to be here.
And the incumbent, Mr. Madi, who doesn't want to resign that seat. He doesn't want anybody to sit on that table. Madi, welcome to the program.
Precisely, that is what I am looking for. Nobody.
All right, let me begin with you, Madi. Let me begin with you. You're seeking a second term as the incumbent right now. Are you sure that the electorate in Serekunda West are going to give you their cards this time?
I have no doubt about that. The people of Serekunda West have no other choice other than me, Madi, and Ceesay, who have been occupying the seat for the past 5 years. And almost in the third week of our campaign, and I'm very much positive, looking at what has happened, what has transpired, and the reactions. My assessment is yes, they will definitely vote for it.
How did you impact that constituency to make the people say yes, Madi is the guy?
I gave a qualitative representation, and that is very key of National Assembly's role. And I have always been actively participating in the businesses of the National Assembly. I have also advocated for the people of Serekunda West for their burning issues like dump site, issues like the stream, road connections, health, education. These are issues and concerns of the people of Serekunda West. And overall, the issue of livelihood in the constituency, and by extension in the whole country, that is regarding to the price of basic commodities. These are areas that I have intervened several times. So that is suffice an impact, and also suffice a connection between a member of parliament and the constituents.
We will break that down later on. Let me come to the new kid on the block. I'm sorry to say, a new kid on the block. We are coming into the elections for the first time. Citizen Alliance, NENEH FREDA Gomez. NENEH FREDA Gomez. I don't know what's taking me to Firdaus. Is it Chief Justice at one time? Justice Minister.
Yeah,
yes. Madi Firdaus. But this is NENEH. This is NENEH FREDA Gomez.
Yeah.
NENEH, tell us, who is NENEH FREDA Gomez?
Well, thank you very much, Madi. NENEH FREDA Gomez, it is, as you see her, a young woman. I wouldn't call myself a girl anymore. I'm a mother. I'm a mother, a young woman, a patriotic woman who was born in this country, grew up, was raised here, had the opportunity to travel abroad to further my education. But because of the belief I have for my country, because of the belief I have and the potential of the people of the country, the resources that I feel could be harnessed and plow back into the people of the country, I return back and continue to work in the country. And of course, I've worked in different organizations or institutions in the country. I've been involved both government, because I've worked for water resources at some point in time. I've worked for the IEC, and the majority, about a couple of decades, is in the banking industry, because that's where my expertise is, in finance and economy. And then I've also worked, done a lot of philanthropic work, charity work, social work, youth activism, of course, things that has to do with the woman cause. I've also been involved in that extensively. So NENEH is not a stranger in the country in any domain. But then there has been my passion or desire to get into politics was born out of necessity. And of course, it started with my participation in the coalition 2016, coming into 2017, 2018, and they're born Citizens Alliance. And that was the time, the first time I was actively a member of a political party in the country. And here I am today, seeking to contest the parliamentary seat for my constituency, Serekunda West.
But why you?
Well, this wasn't me who got up and say I wanted to contest. The call came out of the people of Serekunda West, simply because, according to them, they lacked the representation for so many years, for decades. They haven't seen themselves in how the country is being governed, because they lack the representation where they need to be represented, so that their plights, their aspirations can be brought forward, so that they can be looked into and considered in terms of developmental issues that goes to the different constituencies or the different wards or sections or parts of the country. And as such, the call came. I've consulted with key people that really have a voice in the constituency, people who are well known, people who can go and come, people who are making it happen within the constituency. And of course, when that happened, I had to look at it and analyze myself as first, because again, in everything that you do, you need to know yourself first before you get into it, and you need to know who you are and what you can do before people do. And when I realized that when it comes to competence, I check the box. When it comes to having the good character, I check the box. When it comes to having the voice to represent the young people or the women who are the majority in the constituency, I check the box. I was like, then why not? Because if I don't do it, there is no any good reason why I should not, when the call is coming from the people of the constituency. So I consulted with my family, well-wishers, friends, people, that role models that I look up to, and everybody was like, go girl, you can do it. Do not disappoint them, because they have great hopes and expectations in you. And that's when I had to make the declaration or the announcement. Of course, wrote to my party a letter of intent and said, this is what my people are telling me, and I want to do it. And of course, the party also had the internal checklist that they had to go through. And of course, when I passed that internal checklist within the party level, I had to announce. Because again, I looked at it, the reason why I even accepted, I said, I'm a citizen, I live in the country, I live in the constituency. Everything that is happening there, I am living it, I've lived it, I know it. But then I look at the place that I'm seeking to contest, the National Assembly. It's a very, very important arm of legislature. Super important, even though we trivialize it, even though we dampen it, even though we don't give it the importance that it requires, starting from the members who were there that did not know how important their roles and responsibilities were, that they did not really portray it. And of course, the people also took them the way they presented themselves. I said it's important. Nothing can work in this country if you don't regulate that place. We needed to restore sanity in that arm of legislature. We needed to restore hope. We needed to sanitize that place. And we could not do it if we do not look at the caliber of people we need to put in there. And of course, I possess all those characters to fit in that place. I thought I can put myself up and answer to the call of my people and be there to be their voice.
Rightly said, you need to sanitize that place very well, and I quite agree with you. I mean, Madi, you've been in that National Assembly for the past 5 years. She's claiming that that place needs to be sanitized. People must be representatives of the people that vote them in. What has been your experience in there, and looking at our call for a sanitization of the National Assembly?
I tend to disagree, because for me, What is more important for me is the people that I represent at that National Assembly. If the representatives are qualitative and they know why they are there, then there is no need for any sanitization of the small.
You've been there 5 years. Is it the kind of National Assembly you wanna hang in?
Of course, yes. I represented my people well, and that's why I'm saying it's not about the National Assembly. It's about you and your people that you are representing. Have you taken the plights of your people to the National Assembly? Have you stood for your people? Did you represent your people? For me, that is my primary goal. That's my primary target. For the National Assembly, the place that is named National Assembly, even if that is at the marketplace, for me, it does not matter. What matters for me is the people who represent their people. Are they representing them qualitatively? Are their problems being solved? Are they taking care of them? So for me, that is my issue. That's why when I went to National Assembly, I fought for my people. I know what they are going through. First and foremost, the people around the dump site, including myself, Manjaikunda, where I live, those that live in Tipakunda, those in Manjai, Bakote, those in the SOS. These are the people that dump site was like a thorn in their flesh. When the fire gets there, everybody is stopped. Talk less of those kids that are at the SOS. So for me, bringing that issue to the National Assembly is what is my primary goal. And I have stood for it. When we were going to the National Assembly in 2017, the place was not fenced, and I had two things to advocate for. Either they relocate the dump site or fence it properly. I have seen through the 5 years, it is fenced all over, about 6 feet high.
Was it due to your intervention? Was it because of your intervention?
Of course, because I have brought it out on the table and I have spoken about it, I have sent parliamentary questions about it, I made follow-ups. It is the plight of my people. It is not from my pocket, though.
Was it not?
Let me make that clear.
Was it not in the program of the
It was
KMC?
not. It was not.
All right.
I wouldn't know because I have no privilege of that. But what I know is,
what
I know is,
okay,
the dump site was a thorn in the flesh of my people, and I stood for it. So when it is done, it is not from my pocket. But I would say it has come through my representation.
You share the same party with the mayor. So anything that is done by KM, you will know because he's your colleague. But it's a brother in arms.
Even if you don't share the same party with Lord Mayor, when that place is fenced, you know it. Though you don't share a party with him. So the actions, action speaks louder. When the place was fenced, and mark you, the Lord Mayor works under a ministry, which is the arm of central government. So it's not exclusively the local government. It is local government and the councils. So the credit can go to both of them.
Hold it there, we'll come back to that issue. The issue of you serving your constituency. We'll come back to that. NENEH, women are the ones who go around electing people like him and the president. The women vote is huge. You are the ones who will go do the ashabis, you'll cook the food, you'll go to campaigning, you'll do canvassing and all that. Isn't it time that these men give it to you now?
Well, you're right about it. It's about time they give it to us. And actually, at this point in time, we are not asking them to give it to us. We are ready to take.
They are ready to take?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what we're ready to do. We're not asking anymore. We are ready to grab what is ours. But even before we go that, if you may allow me, I just wanted to comment a little bit about the dump site. Because I hear my uncle here always brags about, I raised parliamentary questions about the dump site and it's been fenced.
Yes.
And I ask myself, is fencing the dump site an achievement that anybody needs to stand and brag about and seek for re-election for that? The issue here is not about the fencing of the dump site. The dump site has been open since I was born in Latrikunda, Yiringanya. It was like that. The issue here is the fire or the smell. That's the issue. Because when it comes to the fire, the smoke, it disturbs everybody.
And it's still going on.
During the dry season. When it comes to the rainy season, it's so smelly that people can hardly sit in their rooms or sleep in their rooms at night.
I agree with you.
And you have the children's village. So what have they done to stop those issues that are really hampering the health and safety of the people, the residents of Serekunda West, aside from fencing, because the fence has not stopped the smoke. The fire is coming almost every month or every 3 months. The rainy season comes, it's still smelling. So why would anybody be bragging about fencing a dump site that the issue has not been solved 5 years into his office and maybe 30 years before him coming to the National Assembly? Maybe he can help me. I lack a little bit of understanding is there. Other side, I would say, please, let's stop that.
He doesn't have the money to do that as a politician and the representative of the people of Serekunda West. He cannot do anything about it, but he believes that he can go to the National Assembly and talk about it. But also very pertinent that you should talk about, Madi. People are crying with the rising cost of commodities in this country. What have you done about that?
Before I come to that, I want to tell my sister here that fencing the dump site is not all. I have said, if she can recall, I had two purposes: relocate it or fence it. The relocation was not done. Its fence did not solve the entire problem. I was around there a couple of days ago, and I said I live by the fence. When the smoke comes, the problem is still there. Now, the next move is that place needs to be relocated. That will be my advocacy. I can tell her that one can brag to say that, yes, this place was an open place. When the wind comes, it blows the rubbish into people's houses. The fence has stopped that. That's a point to brag. In fact, that is all about representation. Raise your people's issues and their problems. When it is solved by the people who are supposed to solve it, because we put all our monies together and give it to central government and say, do this thing for us. That money should come back to the people as in the form of a development. So raising it, one can brag if you raise it and it is solved. Forget about it. Coming to your point.
The rising cost of commodities.
Cost of commodities is terrible. It's very, very terrible.
What are you doing about it?
What had happened at one time, the trade committee of the parliament, when the cost of cement and other basic things were going up, it was a cost. So the entire assembly has to task the trade committee to engage the minister of trade to do something about that. And the certain legislation was brought to their attention that yes, there is no price control, but then you have powers to fix it at the ceiling, even though that can be temporal, to solve people's problem. But to solve the entire problem of this cost of living is a proper legislation. Gambia should come with a legislation where they can stabilize prices for at least 2 years, 3 years, if possible. Yes, the commodities that are coming are not manufactured in the country. Some will say, but what about if the prices go up? Government can subsidize. And if you talk about subsidy, some people who are aligned to the government will say, where are we going to get that money? We can get a lot of money to do the subsidy. We have seen when the president is traveling, whether within the country or outside, he goes with high-powered delegation. That sizes can be sliced down to a minimum. We have seen the special flights being hired. That can be cut down. The numbers can be cut down. The fleet of vehicles that government is using, there can be policies that can bring them down. We can make a lot of savings and government can subsidize so that people's living can be better.
Madi, I am disappointed that you said here that there is no price control. There was price control in this country. Did you sit in the house?
Malik, you are ignorant about that. No, you are ignorant. Price controls comes only when government is involved in trade. Now there is this government is not involved in business, there cannot be price control.
There was an institution.
You are telling me history, you and I know
yes,
that.
Of course.
You and I know that. That happens, then you have NTC. That happened when government went into business. If government is not into business, you cannot have price control.
So government will not control price.
You can stabilize. That's what I said. You can stabilize prices for a fixed amount for a number of years.
All right. Okay. I'll come back to you. We'll still have to see how best you have served the people. You have only 3 days in office, by the way.
Yes.
When are they closing the assembly, by the way? They should tell you to pack up now. You should be packing up now.
The assembly will come to current member of the 5th legislature will come to an end when the 6th legislature is sworn in.
So you will still be moving in and out, collecting.
That's just by the corner.
Oh, you just collected your salary.
No. I'm telling you, Malik.
No,
I am telling you.
It's okay.
No, I am telling you. I am going to be re-elected. That's what I told you.
NENEH
even though you do not have my vote, even though you are not supporting me, like from your point of discussions, but I'm telling you that I am very well going back to the
I
parliament.
vote for Banjul.
I am very well.
I vote in Banjul.
I know.
I'm from Banjul. I live in.
You and I have been here for a long time. We know one another.
I know. I live in
I
Cam.
know your political.
I know. You know where I'm.
Forget about it. I'm going back to the parliament. Even though you don't want me to go back there, but I'm going back.
No, you're my
remember
friend.
the last time you told me when I was contesting that you cannot win, and I won.
Okay.
I'm going to win.
You're going to win. NENEH, Madi is your contestants, and so other 3 other contestants. You have 4 in number in Serekunda West. Six, by the way. 6 in number. Are you disappointed by the fact that the woman's card is being played down with another woman coming in representing PDOIS? Does it make you feel like we the women were fighting each other to allow people like Madi and the other men around not to give you a chance?
I wouldn't use the word disappointed, but I would have loved to see only one woman contesting amongst the men.
In Serekunda West?
I would have wished that the men would be so contented and honorable enough to say any place that a woman is standing, they will not contest against them.
They'll go on a poll.
Simply because we did not see the draft constitution succeed in parliament, which really was advocating for the the quota system. We failed to have that. Now we've presented a constitutional amendment bill that talks about this quota system again in terms of women, which was not even going to take effect these elections, maybe next year or subsequent elections, which also I believe it was deliberate that we did not get the quorum for it to be voted in and passed in. It was deliberate. It was a calculated attempt. But let's move away from that. Now we are here. This is the situation. 6 candidates, 2 women contesting. I would have loved for the 2 of us to be able to have a chat and talk and see which one of us is the most viable candidate and has the greatest potential to win the seat, and we all rally behind that individual. It did not have to be me, but as long as we sit and talk and agree on clear terms that it was free and fair and transparent and democratic, that one of us should have gone, that would have been the best way. Because then we would have been able to have all women, even though some women are not supporting us, they're supporting Madi. I would have loved them to support us, either one of us, but they're supporting Madi or any of the other candidates. But then if it was only one woman, it would have been much, much more easier to play the woman card here. But at the end of the day, that's not possible. It's not possible. That's not the case. It's 2 of us. Now we're looking at who is more competent, who's the most viable candidate, who's the most sellable candidate, who is going to better represent the people of Serekunda West in that. So that's what we're looking at. Again, she's my auntie, great woman. I respect her. And I think she has something in her. But then again, when it comes to being in the assembly to represent the people of Serekunda West, I think I am ahead of her in that, and I would have loved her to support me so that we can get what women are asking for, what we are yearning for in terms of the women representation, the women empowerment. But let me go back. We're talking about a better representation. What has Madi done? Because he is confident here, saying, well, he has done great for the people of Serekunda West. I live in Serekunda West. That's where I was born. I grew up there. I know the place very well. I only knew about Madi when I had the interest to contest.
Oh, you don't go to people's funerals? You don't go to prison ceremonies?
Hang on.
I have to go to every funeral.
Hang on. I only knew about.
She should have
How
seen
come
you.
she did not know me?
She should have seen you in one of them.
During the last election, where was he?
All right, don't you worry. We'll come to that.
No, when I not see you, I've seen you during.
You only come to know about it.
Exactly, to know you. But I've seen you
When the
around
election.
because he was a candidate. So I've
me.
seen him as a UDP candidate because I was like part and parcel of the coalition in 2016, 2017. I distanced myself prior to the National Assembly election when all of them started shooting themselves. All of them started speaking from both sides of their mouth, deviating from the coalition agenda. That's not my character. That's not the kind of person I am. So I distanced myself from the coalition because I know that they've started reneging on every promise. The reason why I left my job to come on board and contribute my quota. So I went away, right? So now I have been seeing Madi All right, but it's not any kind of a saying that it's worth me paying attention to Madi. But when I had the interview, when people started coming to me, the calls started coming that they wanted me to represent them. I started thinking about it. So when I made up my mind, even before announcing, that's when I said I needed to know who this Madi Ceesay is, because everybody you ask, who is the National Assemblyman? I don't know. Or I think he's called Madi Ceesay. Or he is from UDP. That's what I hear a lot. So I was like, I want to know who is this Madi. Ask him. I went to the National Assembly.
Absolutely right. People can say that because
No,
not everybody has voted for me.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's fine.
But you are representing everybody in the
Yes,
constituency,
that's why
whether they vote for you or not.
In your Latrikunda, where you are born and bred up, I have been there several times.
All right.
So, but let me finish up. Allow me to finish.
Let's have some sanity.
Yes.
Let's have some sanity.
Yeah, let me just finish my point.
I'll come to you on that.
So what I did was I went to the National Assembly and asked for him and reach out to him and say, I am this person or whatever. Then that's when I really captured Madi's face and knew, oh, this is Madi Ceesay. This is the National Assembly member for Serekunda West, where I live. And that's when I started to know who this person is. Otherwise, I hear the name, and everybody else don't know it. So, but then the reason why I'm bringing that is to tell Madi that if really he had been that representation to the people of Serekunda West, I think I wouldn't have been brought forward exactly to contest against him. But then again, I want the people of Serekunda West to also think twice and think back. 5 years of Madi's representation. And I remember earlier on I said, we need to sanitize that National Assembly. We need to restore sanity in there. What that National Assembly needs is people who are honest, people who have good character, people who have good standing, people who have integrity, people who really submerge yourself to the service of the people, not self-serving individual. That's what representation means. And that is, I can boldly stand here and say Serekunda West lacked it, and that's why they came yearning, calling for me to come up and represent them in that National Assembly. And if that's what they're looking for, honestly, with all due respect, that's not what we got in Madi for the past 5 years. And obviously, they wouldn't have been forwarding. And obviously, a delegation wouldn't have gone to Madi, people that really supported him in the past 5 years in 2017, and said to him, we will not canvass for you, we will not support you because you are not a sellable candidate, you are not a viable candidate. People who are supposed to be supporting him, they wouldn't have done that. So let's look at ourselves again.
This is what I expect from her.
Yes,
she does not belong to me, my party. And she has been living in Serekunda West for 5 years of my tenure, and she says she doesn't know me. Maybe I should go to his house and say, here I am.
I would have been happy.
Yes, but I have done that for many people. So she should understand, and people who are looking at her will understand that Serekunda West, like any other constituency, are big. And we are second largest. We have over 60,000 registered voters. And if you look at the people who live within Serekunda West, I can bet that we are more than 200,000 people. So if who is looking for being the representative of Serekunda West in the person of NENEH FREDA is saying that I should be known by everybody in Serekunda West. That is just cheap politics. That is cheap politics. It is not practically possible for every representative to go to everywhere even during our campaigns. There are places we don't even step foot in, and they vote for us. What is important as a member of parliament is know the issues of your constituency. That is an obligation on you. You have to go everywhere in the constituency to know the issues.
Honorable,
but you cannot know everybody in your constituency.
Honorable, you at one time decided to hang your boots and say farewell to the Serekunda West seat.
Very well.
You decided to turn around and come back again. One, why did you do that? Two, what have you been telling the people of Serekunda West to re-vote you?
Malik, UDP is a big party, and a democratic party for that matter.
And so is NPP.
No, not at all.
NPP is not a big party.
It's a fraction of the UDP.
All right.
So they cannot be bigger than the UDP.
Okay.
The party is big and full of people who are matured and have integrity. The issue of me saying I'm out of the race and coming back is solved once and for all, and I will not go back on that.
But you did. But you did say.
Can you go with another question?
But you did.
It's settled once and for all, and I will never go back onto that.
You will never go back.
The why and the reasons I will never.
All right.
Party has taken care of. We've solved it as a party. Period. I am back in the race and I'm going to win.
You are going to win based on what you have done in the constituency for the past 5 years and what you have been telling the people in Serekunda West. I hope what you told them this time round, they're not stupid people.
I am one candidate. I am one candidate that speaks and also have at the back of my mind at the end of the 5 years.
What have you told them?
At the end of the 5 years, what I am saying will be used as a yardstick against me.
What have you been telling your constituency?
That I will represent them and then that I will take their matters before where it is necessary.
Just that.
That's representation. You don't know it, you are a lay person in it.
Oh, come on.
Maybe your area is journalism and you are not better than me in that area.
You are a
but I'm telling you, yes.
You're a journalist.
That's what I'm saying. I said you are a journalist and you are not better than me in that. What I'm now telling you is, when you are conversing for votes.
I am a broadcast journalist, you're a print journalist.
Oh, yes, that's right. I know very well. My friend, my brother. Journalist, you see, those are mediums.
Yes.
First and foremost, be a journalist, and then you can be broadcast, you can be print. Those are mediums. Let's not go into that. Let's go into politics.
A matter of semantics.
Yeah, let's go into politics.
Yes.
When I converse for votes, I tell my people that if you vote for me, I will represent you adequately. This time around, what I have been telling the people is, there are certain things that we need to look at. One is the cost of living is too high. We have to come up with laws to stabilize prices. That can be an act that can stabilize the prices for a number of years, 2, 3, and then it can pick it from there. But not every day it goes up. It needs to be stabilized. And I also tell people that I will push for a law that will revisit the 2004 Rent Act. The issue of rent in this country is terrible. It's going and landlords are charging whatever they want to charge and they will tell you how much months you are going to pay in advance. Some will say 1 year, some will say 2 years, some will say 6 months. It all depends on different landlords. I said on my platforms, I will push for a legislation to revisit the 2004 Rent Act. And I also promise that there is a need for us to look at our citizenship laws. Do we have people who are from our neighborhood, from Guinea, from Senegal? These are all the same people, and they've been living there for more than 40, 50 years. But the regulations, the procedures to go into citizenship are so cumbersome that they cannot. And they're still Gambian. They are non-Gambian. Even if they spend 100 years, we refer to them as aliens. That has to stop. We need to make our citizenship law in such a way that these people from Guinea and Senegal can easily acquire the citizenship and then carry on with their duties. We've seen Gambians who have citizens elsewhere in the country. That's another legislation that I will push for. And a lot more other things that have been on the platform. I have just visited one of the women's gardens recently, and I see how terribly those people are suffering. What is happening there is women are on their gardens, they work there, that is Kololi in particular. They have their gardens, they work on the gardens for 20, 25 years, only for one day for them to be kicked out of the place. Yes, the place is TDA, I understand. But there can be some sort of arrangement made, at least an area allocated to them, like 100 by 100, permanent to be their village garden, as it happens in Bakote, it happens in Bakau. And the rest can go to hotels and other things. That garden can supply even 1 or 2 hotels and their vegetables and things like that. These are some of the things I am pushing. And I can tell you, if I go to the parliament, I'll push for it, and I can be questioned about it, and I can really tell my people how far we have gone. I have not promised them that I'm going to build them schools. I cannot do that. That's for the central government, who have our money. Central government, we pay our taxes to central government. They take loans on our behalf. They take grants on our behalf to bring developments to our people. That's their obligation. That's their primary duty to do. That's what we follow.
All right. I have a very pertinent question for you, but it's coming later on.
Okay.
NENEH, what have you been saying to the people of Serekunda West that will make them give you their votes?
Well, first of all...
And take Madi out of that seat.
Well, no, Madi can't be out of that scene, to be honest. Madi can't be, because Madi is the incumbent,
yes, but
and Madi is seeking for re-election.
Saturday, the 9th of April,
yes.
The die will be cast.
Yes.
Maybe she has been campaigning with Madi's name. If you ask her what did he tell her people,
she will not vote for you, by the way.
No, but she will vote for
you. She will not vote for you.
Okay, she says she cannot take me out of it, so
no, she is just making you feel a bit happy about yourself. No. But I'm sure.
See, you told her, take Madi out of this. She said she can't. Meaning that what she is telling the people is about Madi.
Can I hear it from the horse's mouth then?
Madi is the list of my problems. And Madi is the list of the people of Serekunda West, because they're looking for new representation, which they did not have from Madi for 5 years. So what I tell the people of Serekunda West is to be awake. And since they came calling for a representation, they need to look for a representation real, somebody who can be there for them, somebody who will not be there for themselves. Again, they need to be mindful of people coming to promise. People have campaigned 5 years and make promises. I will do, I'll be there for them. And now they did not see themselves in that house that somebody is there for them. So they need to be watch out for new promises and new campaign tactics. They need to look out for that. But most importantly, we have issues in there. One, we've talked about the dump site, which nothing has been done, in my own opinion, in my view. The way it's been before I was born is the way it is right now, aside from the fence. That's not the solution we were looking for. The smell is still there, the smoke is still there, that has not been sorted out. We're talking about schools in those places. By the way, let me make this disclaimer. When people say you are a National Assembly member, you cannot build schools, you cannot build roads, you cannot. Yes. But we make the laws where they look into how they build the schools. We apportion the budget that it's used to build schools and make roads. So in effect, we are the ones to do it, because if we make budgets that the people of Serekunda will see themselves into, because I have really put forward to the Assembly the plight of the people in terms of road development, the plight of the people in terms of schools, the plight of the people in terms of markets and water and electricity, and it is considered in that budget, and that development comes there. So indirectly, I'm the one bringing it there, because I cried on top of my lungs about what they need, and it is factored in the budget, and that development comes there, of course, through the right channel, through the right ministries, not through me, because I don't have a budget as a member. If I go there, I don't have allocation to do those things. So these are the ways that we bring those developments to the people, and this is the reason why we need to get in touch with our people to know what their needs are, whether the roads are good, whether they have water, whether they have electricity, whether the dump site has been taken care of in terms of the smoke and the scent, not fence, and in terms of the libraries, the fire station, whether they are accessible. We have only one fire station in the whole of the Serekunda West, in Kotu. In Bakote, a fire is Kotu coming. In Laterkunda, is Kotu coming. In Kololi, is Kotu coming. How about if there are 2, 3 fires? You have 2 vehicles or 1 vehicle. One is not working, the other one is without water. What do we do? So these are things that we really need to look into. Health and safety of the people living in Serekunda West needs to be looked at, because it's paramount. Our healthcare system is in dire need. It's non-existent or just not good. But we are really creating situations that our people are getting sick by the day and not getting the proper health care. So these are the things that we know, we look at and go in there and advocate for it. And not only through the National Assembly or through the budget. We are giving diplomatic passports. We go out there, we can lobby for these things to come as members, because that's the privilege we have. That's the power we have, that's the voice we have. Even locally, you have NGOs coming into the country that do great work. How can we partner with those people, bringing the plight of our constituency to them? That is, if those things are in line with their developmental agenda, then it can be factored in. That is how we bring development in there. So we really need to look at who we bring, who's been there, what they're telling us, who is trying to come, what they've achieved themselves in life, and what kind of individuals they are. They need not to be self-serving, but submerge self in the service of the people.
You're watching The Road to the National Assembly, and my guests are NENEH FREDA Gomez from Citizen Alliance and the incumbent, the Honorable Madi Ceesay from the United Democratic Party. Both of them at arms. Now, by the way, this question for both of you. The president is campaigning. He needs a majority in the National Assembly to help him with his development agenda. What is your view on the president on the campaign trail, Madi?
Okay.
Well, I really would disagree with him. I have not been following his trail, but if that is what he said.
You have not been?
No, I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in Serekunda West.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not interested in his trail.
But you should know what the president is saying, by the way.
I am not.
When it comes to Serekunda West, I guess you will open your ears and your eyes to know.
Outside Serekunda West is not my concern for now.
All right, very well.
Right?
Okay.
the issue of giving majority to the parliament, to the president, is just like killing ourselves or shooting ourselves in the foot. I think we should now graduate from what had been happening for the past 50 years or so. When the PPP government was in power, the majority of members of parliament were all PPP. They returned to Jammeh, the same thing. Now I think we should look at this. If you give the presidency to one particular party, balance the parliament so that there can be people who can reasonably tell the executive the truth. But if we fill all the National Assembly seats with MPs, we are only giving our whole self to Barrow and his NPP people to do whatever they want to do with it, because they will not tell them the fact.
Honorable Madi.
Or you want us to
Honorable Madi,
if you are,
the United Democratic Party was part of this government, and you had 31 MPs in there.
Yes. Was the government then a UDP government?
It was a coalition government headed by the UDP.
So forget about it.
Headed by the UDP. It was not a UDP.
There is she knows the coalition things better than I do. I was not part of the end, but I know one thing I know is whoever.
The coalition died the very same day it was formed.
Malik.
Oh, come on.
Malik, it was a coalition government. That is your opinion, if you wish to say so.
All right.
That's your opinion. But I am saying your opinion cannot go over my opinion.
Let's roll the ball then.
No, so that sample is out of order. You cannot tell me that
it is in context.
It was out of context.
Of course.
No, it's out of context, Malik.
Of course.
I know always where you come from.
From the other side.
You are always either Jammeh or you are Barrow. Always. I have had several conversations with you. The viewers are looking at you. You're supposed to be objective.
I am being very objective.
You are not.
I'm just citing.
No,
I'm citing.
I have given you my opinion and you said no.
I'm citing examples, concrete examples.
You have not cited any concrete example here. I'm telling you that was a coalition government and not the UDP government. We went to look for the UDP government this time around.
All right.
You can't tell me that.
No. He has to finish what he started. We're still on what the president is doing right now. He needs a majority for his development agenda. Are you supportive of that or no? That was the crux of the question.
I am saying every member of parliament from the oppositions are in for development in this country. We are going for and supporting the development of this country, not any particular president's agenda, but the Gambia's agenda in the National Assembly for development.
At the end of the day, government is government.
Whatever. But I'm saying my position is I'm not looking for Barrow's agenda, I'm looking for the Gambia's agenda. So I will go to the parliament and support any development
of the Gambia
that is dear to the Gambia, whether it comes from the executive or not. Past 5 years was Barrow's government on a coalition. They have come with a lot of bills which are approved by people. There are certain bills that people reject. So it doesn't matter. We are not there for any particular political party. Once we are there, we are in for the development of our constituency, which is part of the Gambia.
Let's give NENEH a chance to answer to that same question that I posed. The president is looking for a majority in the National Assembly. What is your view on that? What's your take?
Well, I believe, not only think, I believe it's not going to happen because people are so awake and people know what they want. A lot of regrets are happening. The state of our country right now, it's the least anybody wants, and we want to change that. How can we change it? Is to have a balanced parliament, and not only individuals like we had in the 5th legislature, but individuals like I mentioned earlier on, the characters that we're looking for, in those individuals to go in there and do what is required or expected of them to really start treading on the right path and help the executive, because it's only those people that can help the executive. It's not about a competition. This is a government. At the end of the day, we have a country to run. But coming back to, yes, the president is not going to have it. And the people like myself, that's why we came on the campaign trail, present ourselves to be there and hold him to account and remind him when the need arises, because all he's surrounded with people who are gonna say, Yafigen, Barrow Mansa, Barrow Leano, Barrow is good person, Barrow is a peaceful person. People are dying. The hospital is in shambles, even though Barrow is a peaceful person. prices of commodities are skyrocketing. Barrow is a peaceful person. That does not drive a country. We need a president who really governs and govern the people that elects him. Now, aside from that, he is campaigning on our resources, that our taxes, all of us here, campaigning for people vying under the NPP ticket. And one thing the president needs to remember, you draw the line. You wear your president caps where it needs to be. You wear your party leader's cap where it needs to be. Because you are not the president for NPP, but the president of every single Gambian and people residing in the Gambia. You are our president, regardless of whether we're in the same party or not. You are our president. So when it comes to issues of national thing, you treat everybody the same. You going out there campaigning for those people, which means they don't have a message. They don't have the competence. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the know-how, the wit-will to go out there and present themselves and speak to their electorates about what they will do for them. But you're riding on the influence of the president to get you elected and get you in there. Because when you get in there, what are you going to do? Nothing but to serve the interests and dreams and aspirations of that person because he got you elected, which is wrong, and people need to look at that. But then again, now Madi is saying it's not good to have the majority seat. Like you said, UDP had majority seat in 2017 until this it's about to close. But then the issue of majority seats is not good in parliament was not a question. So let's not bring it as a question right now. Let's not bring it as an issue right now.
We are talking about government, we are talking about the president that has a majority of members of parliament. That's what we are talking about. You cannot tell me that in the past, yes, there's a fact that we had the majority. We had 31-6 before. We majority. It was not a UDP government. That's what I'm trying to say.
This medium heard a statement that Barrow wants to hijack the UDP, meaning the UDP was in the forefront of this very government before this election. The coalition was a UDP in disguise-led government.
That's your opinion. Okay. What we know is 3 or 4 political parties.
That's my opinion.
No, that's your opinion. What the fact is, political parties vied for the position at the Senegal Caraba Hotel, and out of them, the candidate that UDP put up won. Halifa went for it, Ahmad Ba went for it, Dr. Bojan went for it, and Adam Barrow went for the UDP. All of them went for their parties. When we won it, the condition is you have to resign from your party. I am not part of, I'm not the architect of it, but she said she had been part and parcel of it. I've never attended any of their meetings.
Followed it.
Yes.
We all followed it.
So you cannot come here after that procedure was followed. Our candidate won, and he wrote his letter and resigned from our party. You cannot tell us that he is a UDP government. Or UDP
but
president.
What happened to the stadium? Barrow is our Barrow. Come rain, come shine. Only a boss eye will see anything happen between us and Barrow. What happened to that?
Is that coming from the executive of the UDP?
From
militants can say
from Uncle Isonudabo.
Militants can say it.
No, not from militants.
Honorable.
Yes.
We all have eyes and ears. We heard who said Barrow is our Barrow.
Look, the fact of the matter here is Malik. Barrow was leading a coalition government.
Barrow was your Barrow.
He was our candidate. We put it up.
He was your
coalition conditions was that he should resign. And what I tell people is, if you, Malik Jones, should go with me and her, and we say anybody who wins, you resign from your home. Now you won. You resign from your home. So you've taken away the Jones from you? That's the only connection. The only connection was he was a member of the UDP and he wrote and resigned. If you and NENEH wants to make him UDP, make him UDP. Period. But I'm saying that no, he was leading a coalition government. Whether the coalition has failed or not, he was leading a coalition government, not a UDP government.
Okay, Madi, we'll let it to rest.
But can I land?
Please go ahead.
Yes, exactly.
No, you can take off. You can take off.
For me, the issue is not whether Barrow was a UDP member or resigned or whatever. That's really water under the bridge. It's besides the point. It really does not make anything here.
What is the point?
But then the point here is we're making this comment that, okay, it was okay for UDP to have a majority seat, 31 or so thereabout in government.
No,
I mean UDP.
When we say majority, the question that comes from you is whether we should give majority seats to Barrow on a NPP government. You cannot bring that together with UDP. UDP has never been the head of this government.
When the coalition, wait a minute,
government.
After the presidential election, there was National Assembly elections and UDP stood on its own.
Of course, yes. Parliament was contested on the partisan line. Purely, that's why.
Thereby
we won our seats on our ticket as
thereby
UDP.
breaking the rules of the game.
Who said that?
Yes,
what was the rule? What was the rule? That we should contest as independent?
I will.
Is that the rule? Is that the rule? You are ignorant of the rules.
I will invite Halifa Sallah one day to throw light on the coalition.
We said we will contest on.
Can Madi allow me to talk? It's my turn to talk.
We'll leave that.
No, you want to ask a question. He is saying the rule. Well,
yes,
was he the chairman of the
No. These things are all there. These things are all there in black and white.
Too biased, always.
These things are there.
Anyways, it is my opinion that UDP had the majority seats in Parliament the 5th legislature.
Very well.
31 or thereabout. And it is my also belief and opinion that was achieved through the influence of President Barrow, then, who went all around the country and campaigned, and you guys won, and he gave you money. And President Barrow saw that it worked that time. They got the majority. He is using the same tricks to do it this time around so that he can achieve the same majority seats in Parliament. Nothing else. That's what he wants, because he is of the belief that he can only do what he wants to do, or he can only work if he has the majority seats in Parliament, which is a first, because at the end of the day, I, NENEH FREDA Gomez, I am there for the people. My constituents members are going to elect me. But when I get in that house, I represent Gambia, the entire Gambian, because everything that I do there, whether a law, whatever, is for the best, should be for the best interest of Gambians. So it's not NPP, it's not UDP, it's not Citizens Alliance. So if that is the case, I do not see any reason why the executive or anybody should bring anything that serves the interest of the people. Just because the person is not from the same party with me, I will say no to it. That is irresponsible for anybody, that is ignorant, that is myopic-minded for anybody to do. And I am not anything of that sort. I will support anything that serves the interest of the people. So that's what Barrow needs to think about. Not majority, but try to encourage and canvass for everybody, every member, especially women, so that they can get in that parliament and serve the Gambian people, not thinking that he needs the majority people. So for me, Barrow going out campaigning on our own tax money, the Gambian people, on the resources of the country, the state, just for his own people, for me it is careless, it is remorseless, it is tactless, and it is just not right. It is outright wrong. And every level-headed person, every citizen need to condemn that. And the next legislature, the 6th legislature, need to ensure that we regularize these such acts and make sure it doesn't happen. Because if we don't do it at the parliament, it is going to continue, and anybody else that has the power in their hands are going to use state resources, state machinery to the detriment, to the disadvantage of other people. And that's what we need to say no to, which he was in the House, never advocated for that to stop, or never did anything else for that to stop. And now you're talking about, I will talk about I will push for new things. We talked about the election, the Public Order Act, which they are a victim of, him and his party. For me, the first thing that UDP should have advocated for in that house, in this legislature, 5 years and you've not been achieved for me, it's a complete failure to advocate for that thing to be out of our laws. And they are still continuing to be a victim of such. I mean, you come and tell me I will advocate for new things, when things that really suppress you, you cried, you went to jail, you did not work hard to remove that. There were so many things that they were a victim of, they did not advocate for. You're talking about new things that you will push and advocate for. Voters need to really listen and look about the character of the people, what they said, what they're saying, and who they are before you even choose
What's
them.
your take on that? What's your take on that?
Unfortunately, she is ignorant in that area. When you are pushing for laws,
I take it with a good light.
of course, if you are making laws, For example, lawmaking comes in two ways. Government can bring bills, and it can be by way of amendments, but private members can also come with bills and go ahead with it. So this particular public act that he's talking about has been a subject of discussion in the parliament. But what he fails to understand is, parliament is all about numbers. And when we say numbers, it's not like any number. You have certain bills, amendments that you can do with just simple majority. You have certain amendments that have to be done with a quarter. So if that is asked, even if you are 31 or 25, you are majority, but know that the other side are more than you. In the draft constitution, only 17 voted against it, and it never passed. So these are some of the things people who want to be members of parliament should know. Not that anything you push as a member of parliament it should happen. That UDP should have changed that. Yes. We left us alone, we will change it.
I strongly believe that could have been changed because in 2017, when you guys were sworn in, let's seek clarity. In 2017, when they were sworn in, the marriage was still sweet. Anything that they tell Barrow, it will happen. They were all in unison. The only division there was APRC, who were still angry that the supreme being was booted out of the country, and then you have the other people because they were still in a coalition. How to call it, NRP, everybody else, apart from the APRC and then the GDC now. And those were the minority. So let's say if everybody else at that time, for me, the first thing they did was to change the age limit. And they all agreed and changed it. All right? The other thing they did was to remove that clause that say if you are expelled from your party, you still will not lose your seat. And they all passed it. This was something that if they had brought it in, it was going to pass without any...
this thing was tabled.
My belief is, they fought, but when they came into power and got the power, they thought they could use the same thing to oppress other people, but then things turned against them. That's the honest truth, and we need to accept. This is about being honest to ourselves.
I think the people of Serekunda West should really look at who they want to elect into that position.
Of course,
I wish they should do that. Because
Honorable, allow me.
Right.
You have 5 contestants against you, and that shows how prepared these people are, and how it shows that people really need that seat from you, to take it from you. Are you disturbed? Does it frighten you?
I am not, and it did not frighten me. 2017, I had 6 other contestants plus myself, making it 7. Did that answer your question?
You had the backing of a government
I'm telling
in
you,
place.
No.
A pseudo government in place.
I'm saying 2017, I have 6 other people vying for that same position. I am the 7th one.
Mustafa Law is running
now,
on an NPP ticket.
And so?
Mustafa Law is running on an NPP ticket.
So do you, what I initiated?
Wait, in the same vein that Madi Ceesay was running under a UDP-led coalition government.
That's not true, Malik. That statement is not true.
You don't want to buy that?
No, it's not true. It was a coalition. I wouldn't say UDP. That's a coalition of how many parties?
Come on, Madi, help me with this coalition.
Please, as media man, give the people the truth.
That coalition died a long time ago.
That information is
That coalition died a long time ago.
You cannot say that
and you know that.
But you are saying it's a UDP-led coalition, which is wrong, Malik. You are giving a wrong signal to your viewers.
Okay, you got 7.
You need to be
you have 7. You have 7.
I'm not biased.
No.
What have you? Let me tell you. Malik. You are the moderator, but you don't own us. We are participants.
No, I am holding you to the facts as I see them. Facts as I see them.
What do you have to settle with UDP?
You have no.
That was not a UDP-led coalition. We are members, and during the coalition, they are saying it's equal members. Even when they say they bring up participants at the country, it was 70-70 per party. So how can that be a UDP-led government? What is your problem with UDP?
I like nothing.
You must be objective, my brother.
Nothing. No, okay. Now you have 7 of your members.
Yes.
Who you expelled. You expelled 7 of your members, National Assembly members, 7 of them, didn't you? And today they are resurfacing in the National Assembly elections under the banner of the NPP. Why did you expel them?
That's history.
No, it's not history.
It's
because
history.
they're standing
no,
now.
It's history.
They're standing.
I will give you the reason, but it's history.
They are standing in the very same constituency.
I am not saying they are not contesting, but I'm telling you that that is history. People know why they were expelled. This is not the first time. And let me tell you, UDP has been there since 1996. These are not the only people we have expelled. We have expelled people who are sitting members. The former member, Nyani Almamo, was expelled when he was member of parliament.
This is wholesale.
I'm telling you,
You have 7.
it is not strange for UDP to expel a sitting member of parliament. We've done it. And at executive, we've done it. You have to go by the constitution and the regulations
Of your party.
and the rules of the party,
Of your
or
party.
you leave the party. This happens everywhere in the world. Why are you building a mountain over that? They have not met that, and the party's executive. In fact, most of those people, if not all of them, their expulsion come from their constituencies. It's their constituency committees that say, look, we have to expel this from the party. Then it went to the party, it went to the executive. So you cannot come here and tell me that your party has expelled X and Y. Why? And I say that it's history because we've explained this several times. You have to comply by the rules and regulations of the party, remain a member. You don't, expelled.
Honorable Madi.
Even if that is Usain Udabo.
Honorable Madi Ceesay, yes. On the 9th of April is next door. I want to wish you good luck. What is your last word to your constituency?
I'm telling them that I am the rightful person to be voted in again. Because I have adequately and qualitatively represented them. The notion that the people of Serekunda West has come to me does not stand anywhere. Because Serekunda West has over 46,000 people. And I have not seen that big convergence going to one person, we want you because we don't want Madi. It's all about votes. The last parliamentary election, I got only a little over 4,000 votes. Over APRC, which has also a little over 4,000 votes. When the total was about 45,000 votes. So if you want to tell me that the people of Serekunda West want me, fine. But I'm telling you, this is about democracy. We sell our agenda to the constituent people, and I have done that adequately, and I have 2 days to complete the task. And I am very confident that the people of Serekunda West will vote me in for the second time.
Thank you. NENEH FREDA Gomez, you're playing the woman's card. I congratulate you. What is your last word to make sure that this man doesn't sit in the National Assembly come the day they're going to inaugurate the Assembly?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Malik. Thank you once again for inviting me on this platform. I want to speak to the people of Serekunda West that what they want, NENEH can give it to them. I lived in the constituency. I know the plight of the people. I'm a woman, I'm a young person. Whatever their cries are, my mother has gone through it. Whatever the issues are, my auntie has experienced it. Whatever the issues are in that place, I have gone through it. So therefore, I am a testimony that who can go out there and represent them very, very well. I am going there for the people, not for myself, to be a voice beyond representation. And when I say beyond, for everybody that lives in there, young, old, male, female, blue, white, regardless of color, regardless of age, regardless of religion, regardless of tribe, I am going to be a representation for everybody that lives there. And anything that I can bring back to the people for their own benefit, for their own development, I will fight tooth and nail. And should, let me just say, should the president repeat the same actions of trying to entice people to bring them to their camp, if I take that brown envelope, I will bring it back to the people of Serekunda West to plow it back to you, to bring development, to bring the desired issues, to take care of the issues that are of concern to the people. But I will never, never take that money and eat it for myself and not for my family. So look at the people you elect, look at the people you want to represent you in that very important house. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I was talking to the Honorable Madi Ceesay from the United Democratic Party standing for Serekunda West constituency, and to NENEH FREDA Gomez of Citizen Alliance. It has been the road to the National Assembly. Stay tuned to this TV on election night. That Saturday, we will be here. From Imali Jones, bye-bye.